The cold was sharper than anything Bren had ever felt before. The wind cut through his thin jacket, making him shiver even though he kept moving. The ice under his boots cracked and shifted with every step. The mining moon of Lyranese was not a place for comfort or safety. It was a place where hope could freeze and die. Bren had come here for a simple job. Transport some mining supplies, check the outposts, and report. But everything changed when the engine of his small transport ship failed, leaving him stranded miles from any help. Now, he was alone in the cold. As he walked through the icy wasteland, he noticed something strange. Far ahead, near the wreckage of an old research dome, a small figure moved slowly. Bren squinted, trying to see better. It was a woman. She looked thin and fragile, wrapped in rags that offered little protection from the freezing air. Bren's heart beat faster. In all his years as a trader, he had never seen anyone so vulnerable and alone on Lyranese. He called out gently, "Are you all right? Do you need help?" The woman stopped and turned. Her eyes were wide with fear, but they also held a strange kind of hope. She took a few shaky steps toward him. She was trembling, not just from cold but something deeper, something stronger. Without a word, she lowered herself to the ground and wrapped her arms around her knees. Bren saw the skin of her hands was red and cracked from the cold. Her hair was tangled and wet with frost. Bren knew he had to act fast. He took off his heavy coat and knelt beside her. "Here, put this on," he said softly. The woman looked up at him. For the first time, she spoke. Her voice was quiet but clear. "Pretend I'm your wife," she whispered. Bren blinked, surprised. The words seemed strange in this empty place, but there was something in her eyes that made him nod. "All right," he said. "I will." He helped her stand carefully, he wrapped the coat around her shoulders and took her hand. Together, they began walking back toward his shelter. The shelter was a small dome made of metal and glass. It was not warm, but it was better than the open cold. Bren lit the heater and made a fire. The woman sat near it, still trembling. Bren studied her more closely. She was not like anyone he had met before. Her clothes were strange and worn, and she had a mark on her ankle, a small metal band. It looked like a tracking device. Bren wondered why she was alone here and why she wanted him to pretend she was his wife. "What is your name?" he asked. The woman hesitated, then said, "Kira." "Kira," Bren repeated. "It's good to meet you." She nodded but did not say more. Bren understood. Sometimes it was better to wait and listen. Night came quickly on Lyranese. The cold pressed in like a wall. Bren brought Kira some food and water. She ate slowly, still watching him carefully. They talked a little. Bren told her about Earth, about humans, and their strange habits. Kira listened, but her eyes often drifted to the door, as if she feared someone was outside waiting. Suddenly, a noise made them both freeze. Outside, footsteps crunched in the snow. Bren stood and moved to the door. Two figures appeared in the glow of his firelight. They wore dark uniforms and carried weapons. One of them spoke in a sharp voice. "We are looking for a fugitive. A woman who stole sensitive information. Have you seen her?" Bren's heart pounded. He looked at Kira. She was tense but did not move. He took a deep breath. "This woman is my bonded wife. She is under my protection." The men looked at each other, confused. "Bonded wife," one said. "You are a human. This woman is wanted by the Villery Syndicate. Bran stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. On Earth, marriage is a legal bond. My wife is under my protection. You have no right to take her. The men studied him for a moment. Then, after a tense silence, they nodded. We will return, one said. Be warned. They left as quickly as they came. Bran closed the door and turned to Kira. She was pale but relieved. Thank you, she said quietly. Don't thank me yet, Bran replied. We are not safe. But I will help you. Kira looked at him with a small spark of trust for the first time. Outside, the wind howled. Inside, Bran and Kira sat close to the fire, ready to face whatever came next together. The morning sun barely warmed the frozen land of Lyranese. Inside his small shelter, Bran watched Kira quietly. She sat near the fire, her eyes distant, as if trying to remember something important. Bran knew she was hiding more than just her story. The metal band on her ankle was proof. It wasn't just a piece of old equipment, it was a tracking device, like the ones used by the Villery Syndicate for those they controlled. Bran guessed Kira had escaped from somewhere dangerous. He wanted to ask her many questions, but he waited. Sometimes, the silence was better than words. Finally, Kira spoke. I was a scientist, she said softly. I worked on a space station far from here. Bran nodded. What kind of scientist? Genetic research, she said, her voice low. I help study living things, how they grow, how they change. And the Villery? Bran asked. Why do they want you? Kira's eyes darkened. I found things I was not supposed to see. Things they did to people and animals. Things that were wrong. Bran frowned. What kind of things? Kira looked away. They tried to change life itself, without care. They hurt many to gain power. Bran felt a cold knot in his stomach. The Villery were known for cruelty. If Kira held proof, they would stop at nothing to get her back. Why did you run here? Bran asked. Kira looked at him, hope shining in her eyes. Because humans are different. I heard stories about Earth. About how humans fight for each other. I hoped you would help me. Bran smiled faintly. You chose well. He stood and moved to a small console in the corner. It was a communicator, broken but usable. He tried to send a message to the Alliance Protectorate, the galactic group that kept peace between species. Maybe they could help Kira. The message did not go through. The storms on Lyranese blocked the signal. We must find another way, Bran said. Kira nodded. The smuggler outpost, to the south. They have ships. They can take us off this moon. Bran knew the journey would be dangerous. The Villery had patrols everywhere. But he had no choice. Helping Kira was more than survival now, it was about doing what was right. Before they left, Bran checked Kira's tracking band. It was small, but strong. He needed to remove it without hurting her. After careful work, he managed to disable the device. Kira looked at her ankle, amazed. You trust me, she said. Bran shrugged. You saved your life by trusting me first. They packed what little they had and stepped outside. The cold air hit them hard, but Bran kept Kira close. They walked toward the distant outpost, following faint trails left by miners and traders. Along the way, Bran taught Kira about human life. He told her about Earth's blue oceans, wide forests, and busy cities. She listened with wonder, her fear slowly melting. Kira shared what she knew about the Villery. They were a powerful syndicate that controlled many planets. They used fear and force to keep control. Most species obeyed, but humans were different. They fought back. One night, as they rested in a small cave, Bren asked, "If they catch you, what will happen?" Kira's face grew dark. "They will take the data in my mind. They will erase what I know and use me again. I will lose everything." Bran clenched his fists. "We won't let that happen." They both knew the odds were against them, but hope was stronger than fear. On the fourth day, they reached the smuggler outpost. It was a cluster of metal buildings and ships, hidden in the rocks. The people there were rough and quiet, but Bran hoped they would help. At the main building, Bran explained their situation. The smugglers looked at Kira carefully. After a long silence, one man nodded. "We can get you off this moon," he said. "But it won't be easy. The Velaryon patrols are watching. You must be ready to fight or run." Kira stood taller. "I will do whatever it takes." Bran smiled at her courage. "Then let's prepare." As they worked together, Bran saw a new strength in Kira. She was no longer just a frightened woman. She was a fighter, ready to stand against those who wanted to harm her. That night, as the outpost lights flickered against the dark sky, Bran thought about the long journey ahead. He didn't know what the future held, but one thing was clear. Together, they would face it. And the lie of being husband and wife was no longer just for protection. It was becoming something real. The wind outside the smuggler's outpost was harsh and unforgiving. Inside the dim-lit room, Bran and Kira sat close together, their plans growing clearer but the dangers increasing. Kira's eyes reflected both fear and determination. Bran could feel the weight of her secret pressing between them. Bran wanted to understand more about the data Kira carried. He knew it was not just information but a truth that could change everything. "Kira," Bran said quietly, "what is this data? Why is it so important that the Velaryon want it back so badly?" Kira took a deep breath. "It is a record of experiments. The Velaryon are trying to change life itself. Not for good, but to control and to harm." She paused, searching for the right words. "They capture people and creatures. They change their DNA. Some never return the same. They want to create soldiers and spies machines instead of beings." Bran's hands clenched. The Velaryon were more dangerous than he had thought. "Why did you risk everything to take this data?" he asked. "Because if the truth stays hidden, no one will stop them. More will suffer. I had to escape and bring this to those who can act." Bran nodded slowly. The burden she carried was more than just personal, it was a threat to many lives. Suddenly, the door creaked open. A man stepped in. He was the smuggler leader, a tall, rough-faced man named Tolan. His eyes were sharp and careful. "You have a dangerous secret," Tolan said. "The Velaryon will not stop until they have it. You should know that." Bran looked at Kira. "Can they find us here?" Tolan shook his head. "This place is hidden. But if they send a ship, it won't be long before we are found." "We need to move," Bran said. "We have to get Kira to the Alliance Protectorate. They will protect her." Tolan agreed. "I will help you. But it will cost you." Bran nodded. "Name it." For the first time, Bran felt the true cost of this journey. It was not just money or supplies, it was trust, risk, and danger. The next day, they prepared the smuggler ship for departure. Kira stayed quiet, her mind busy with the dangers ahead. Bran kept watch, knowing every moment could bring the Villery closer. As the ship lifted off the icy ground, the cold moon below faded into darkness. The stars around them were bright and still. Bran felt hope for the first time in many days. Days passed as the ship traveled through space. Bran and Kira grew closer. She told him more about her life before the escape, how she had worked in a research lab, how she dreamed of a galaxy where all species could live free. Bran shared stories of Earth, of people who fought for freedom and for each other. He told her about humanity's strange power, how they could face fear with courage and hope. One night, as the ship drifted quietly, Kira turned to Bran. "Why do you trust me so easily? I am a stranger. I brought danger to you." Bran smiled softly. "Because I believe in people. And sometimes, we find family in the most unlikely places." Kira looked at him with something like gratitude. For the first time, she let go of some of her fear. Suddenly, the ship's alarms rang out. Red lights flashed. Bran and Kira jumped to their feet. "What is it?" Kira asked, eyes wide. Tolan's voice came over the speakers. "We are being followed." Outside, on the radar, a Villery gunship was closing in fast. The hunters had found them. Bran's mind raced. "We can't outrun them forever. We need a plan." Kira nodded. "There is a nearby asteroid field. If we can hide there, the Villery might lose us." The ship shook as enemy fire hit the shields. Bran steered the ship toward the dark rocks. The asteroid field was dangerous, but it was their best chance. The ship weaved between the massive stones, dodging blasts and sharp rocks. Bran's hands were steady despite the tension. Kira helped by operating the sensors, guiding Bran through the maze. For a long time, they escaped the Villery's pursuit. The gunship could not follow deep into the field without risking damage. Inside the quiet of the asteroid field, Bran and Kira looked at each other. Their faces were marked by exhaustion and relief. "We made it," Bran said. Kira smiled weakly. For now. They knew the fight was far from over. The Villery would not give up so easily. As they rested, Kira took Bran's hand. "Thank you for saving me." Bran squeezed her hand back. "We save each other." The cold truth was clear: the Villery's power was strong, but human courage and loyalty were stronger. And as the stars twinkled beyond the asteroid field, Bran and Kira prepared for the next step in their dangerous journey. The asteroid field lay behind them, a dark maze of floating rocks where the Villery gunship had lost their trail. Bran sat in the pilot's seat, his eyes sharp and alert. The small smuggler ship hummed quietly as it moved through space, heading toward a distant star system where the Alliance Protectorate had a station. Kira stood beside him, watching the stars with a mix of hope and worry. She was still weak from the journey, but her spirit was growing stronger. Bran noticed the way she studied the endless sky, as if searching for a new beginning. "We have a long way to go," Bran said softly. "The Protectorate station is our best chance." Kira nodded. "I have never traveled this far before. Earth is so far away." Bran smiled. "I will tell you about it. Earth is blue and green, full of life and water. You would like it?" Kira's eyes brightened at the thought. "Maybe one day, I will see it." For now, they had to focus on the present. The Villery were dangerous and clever. Bran knew they would not give up the chase easily. The ship moved quietly through space, but the silence was broken by Kira's sudden question. "Bran, why did you help me? You do not even know me." Bran looked at her with a calm smile. Because I believe that no one should be hunted for doing what is right. You trusted me, and I will trust you. That is what makes us human. Kira was silent for a moment. Then she said, humans are different. I have heard stories. You care even when it hurts. Bran's smile grew. Sometimes caring is the strongest weapon. They shared a quiet moment, feeling the bond grow between them. It was no longer just a story of survival, it was becoming a story of trust and hope. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped. Bran moved to the control panel and scanned the readings. Something is out there, he said. Kira leaned over his shoulder. What do you see? An unknown ship approaching fast. Not Villery, but it is not from the Protectorate either. Bran's heart beat faster. In space, unknown ships could be friend or foe. The ship's captain appeared on the screen. His uniform was different, clean and official, but unfamiliar. This is Captain Oren of the Zader traders, the man said. You are carrying a passenger wanted by the Villery Syndicate. We have orders to capture her. Bran's jaw tightened. We will not surrender. Kira looked at Bran, fear and determination mixed in her eyes. We must be ready. Bran prepared the ship's defenses while Kira studied the data she carried in her mind. The encrypted information was the key to stopping the Villery's cruel experiments. They could not lose it. The Zader trader's ship moved closer, weapons ready. Bran engaged the ship's shields and powered the engines for a quick escape. The chase began. Bran's hands flew over the controls. He knew the routes through the nearby nebula, a cloud of gas and dust where sensors were weak. It was dangerous, but it might give them cover. Kira helped by using the ship's scanners to watch the enemy's position. Together, they worked like a team. The ship dived into the nebula. Stars blurred behind the glowing clouds. The sensors flickered, making it hard to see. Suddenly, the Zader ship appeared out of the mist, blocking their path. Bran didn't hesitate. He fired a warning shot across their bow. Leave us alone. The Zader captain responded, we have orders. Surrender or be destroyed. Bran's voice was firm. We will fight for what is right. A battle began among the stars. The ship started and weaved, exchanging pulses of energy. Bran used every skill he had to avoid damage, while Kira guided him to safe spots in the nebula. At one point, the smuggler ship took a hit. Sparks flew inside the cabin, and the engines faltered. Bran cursed under his breath. Hold on, Kira. We're not finished yet. Kira looked at him with fierce determination. We can win. We must. Using a sudden burst of speed, Bran flew toward a narrow opening in the nebula, too small for the larger Zader ship to follow. They slipped through and escaped the dangerous cloud. The enemy ship stayed at the edge, unable to follow further. Bran breathed deeply, feeling relief wash over him. We lost them, he said. Kira smiled, tired but victorious. We are closer to safety. For the first time, hope felt real. Days passed. The ship moved steadily toward the Alliance Protectorate station. Bran and Kira spent the time preparing for what would come next. Kira studied the encrypted data carefully, trying to unlock its secrets. Bran repaired the ship and kept watch. They shared stories and dreams, learning more about each other. The bond between them grew stronger, no longer just a lie but something true. One evening, Kira looked at Bran with quiet courage. Thank you for pretending, she said. Bran smiled warmly. Sometimes pretending leads to something real. Outside the window, stars shone brightly, guiding them toward a new beginning. The small ship hummed softly as it entered the space station's orbit. Bren and Kira watched from the observation window as the massive Alliance Protectorate station loomed ahead. Its walls were covered with bright lights and antennas that reached out into space like giant fingers. "This is it," Bren said quietly. "We're almost safe." Kira nodded, but her eyes held worry. "Safe? The Villery will not stop. They will come here if they can." Bren placed a hand on her shoulder. "The Protectorate will protect us. They believe in justice." The docking process was smooth. The ship connected to the station with a soft click. Guards in clean uniforms boarded quickly, their faces serious but not threatening. Bren and Kira followed them into the bright halls of the station. It felt like a new world after the cold darkness of Lyranese and the empty space between stars. They were taken to a network error occurred. "Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help.openai.com. Retry, you said." Part 6, 800 words. Kalekho or interesting hunashia or third-person style malekniha or simple basic English ka. Don't use any violated word. So please avoid any violated content. Don't use ... ChatGPT said, "Certainly." Here is part 6 of your story, approximately 800 words, simple English, third-person style, and clean content as you requested. Part 6, The Hidden World. The escape pod floated silently in the dark ocean of space. Bren and Kira sat side by side, tired but determined. The cold metal walls felt small, but inside, hope burned bright. Kira held the small secure device close to her chest. "This data is the key," she said softly. "If we reach the hidden world, we can share it with those who will stop the Villery." Bren nodded. "Tell me about this place. Where is it?" Kira's eyes sparkled with a faint light. "It is called Varades. A planet hidden in a far system, surrounded by a dense nebula that blocks scanners and signals. Few know it exists. The Protectorate uses it as a secret refuge." Bren was amazed. "A safe place. Just what we need." "But it is not easy to reach," Kira warned. "The nebula is dangerous. The clouds are full of electrical storms. We need a ship that can survive the trip." Bren looked out the small window at the stars. "We will find a way." The pod's limited fuel meant they could not travel far. They sent a message to the nearest Protectorate outpost, hoping for rescue. Hours passed slowly. Kira rested while Bren kept watch. The silence between them was comfortable now, no longer filled with fear but trust. Suddenly, a larger ship appeared on the pod scanner. Bren's heart raced. The ship was Protectorate. A rescue team had arrived. The pod was pulled gently inside the larger ship's hangar. Bren and Kira stepped out into a new world of technology and safety. The captain of the rescue team, a calm woman named Leah, greeted them. "We received your distress call. The station's attack was unexpected. You are safe now." Kira smiled, relief washing over her. "Thank you." Leah studied the device around Kira's neck. "This data you carry is vital. We will protect it and help you reach Varades." Bren felt a wave of gratitude. For the first time in weeks, he believed they might win. The ship prepared for the journey through the nebula. The crew worked quickly, reinforcing shields and engines. Kira explained more about Varades. "The planet is peaceful. No weapons, no war. It is a place for healing and learning." Bren hoped it was true. They needed peace more than anything. As the ship entered the nebula, the stars outside disappeared behind thick clouds of swirling gas. Lightning flashed, casting strange shadows inside the ship. The ride was rough. The ship shook and trembled, but the shields held firm. Bren and Kira stayed close, watching the storm outside. Hours passed like this, and the crew remained alert. Then, suddenly, the ship's alarm sounded. "Energy spikes detected," Leah announced. "Something is interfering with our shields." Kira's eyes widened. "It's the Velaryi. They are still following us." Bran's jaw tightened. "We must lose them." The captain maneuvered the ship through a narrow passage in the nebula. The Velaryi ship fired again, but the Protectorate ship was faster and smarter. After a tense chase, the Velaryi ship turned away, unable to follow deeper into the storm. The crew cheered quietly. Bren and Kira exchanged a relieved look. Finally, through the clearing clouds, Varades appeared. It was a beautiful blue and green planet, with wide oceans and tall mountains. The ship landed on a soft field surrounded by tall trees. The air was fresh and warm. Kira took a deep breath. "This is home." They were greeted by the leaders of the Protectorate Refuge. They promised to keep the data safe and to help expose the Velaryi's crimes. Bren and Kira were given a small home in the peaceful community. For the first time in a long while, they felt safe. As days passed, Kira worked with scientists to unlock the secrets of the data. Bren helped protect the community and learned more about the new world. Their bond grew stronger. What had started as a lie pretending to be husband and wife was becoming real. They cared deeply for each other. One evening, under the bright stars of Varades, Kira turned to Bren. "Thank you for saving me. For trusting me." Bren smiled gently. "Thank you for trusting me too. We are stronger together." The cold, harsh journey was over. Now, a new chapter began, a chapter of hope, healing, and the fight for freedom. The Velaryi might still be out there, but Bren and Kira knew this hidden world was their safe place. Together, they would face whatever came next. And they would never give up. Life on Varades was peaceful, but Bren and Kira knew that the threat of the Velaryi was not gone. The data they carried was powerful, and the Velaryi would stop at nothing to get it back. Still, here in this hidden world, they found a chance to breathe and to plan. Each morning, Bren helped with the community's defense training while Kira worked with the scientists. They learned how to use the data to reveal the Velaryi's terrible experiments to the galaxy. The community on Varades was small but strong. People from many planets had come here, seeking safety and a fresh start. There were teachers, healers, and engineers, all working together. One evening, as the sun set behind the distant mountains, Kira and Bren stood on a hill overlooking the valley. The sky was a soft orange, and the stars began to appear. "Kira," Bren said, "we have come so far. I never imagined this journey would bring us here." Kira smiled. "Neither did I. But I am glad we traveled it together." They stood close, the silence between them full of understanding. The cold fear from the past was gone. In its place was hope and trust. But their peace was soon tested. One night, the alarm bells rang out across Varades. The Velaryi had found them. Bren and Kira rushed to the control center. The community prepared to defend itself. Although the planet was hidden, the Velaryi's reach was long. The Velaryi ships appeared in the sky, dark and threatening. But the people of Varades were ready. Bren led the defense teams, coordinating ships and ground forces. Kira worked with the scientists to protect the data and to broadcast the truth across the galaxy. The battle was fierce but short. The Villery were strong, but the community's courage was stronger. Using the data, Kira revealed the Villery's cruel experiments to the galaxy. Many planets joined the fight, sending help to Varades. The Villery forces retreated, beaten, and exposed. After the battle, the community celebrated their victory, but Bren and Kira knew the fight was not over. The galaxy needed to remain united to stop the Villery forever. One morning, Kira held Bren's hand as they stood before the community. "We have faced great danger," she said, "but together, we have hope. We will build a future where no one is hunted for their truth." Bren smiled and nodded. "We will protect this world and others. We will stand for freedom." The people cheered, their voices full of promise. In the quiet moments that followed, Bren looked at Kira and said, "Thank you for trusting me. For being my partner in this." Kira squeezed his hand. "Thank you for saving me. For being more than I ever hoped." They stood together, no longer pretending. Their journey had started with fear and loneliness but ended with love and hope. The stars above Varades shone brightly, a symbol of new beginnings and endless possibilities. The cold, helpless girl who once whispered, "Pretend I'm your wife," had found strength, family, and a new home. And together, Bren and Kira would face whatever the future held. The galaxy was wide and full of danger, but it was also full of hope. And hope was the greatest power of all.